it was a group of guys. I'm a Christian, a man of faith, and I was part of a church in Reading. And I've always been quite passionate about kind of men's stuff, of kind of doing stuff for men and with men in terms of supporting each other, and trying to get to a stage with them where we can, have permission amongst each others to be able to talk about stuff that probably normally in a pub conversation you wouldn't necessarily talk about. And I'd seen over the years just this kind of same pattern happening with a lot of guys at this church I was part of, and actually seeing it in other places as well, where life just throws us different challenges at different times, Alex. You know that, and there can be moments where we're kind of cruising along and everything's fairly good, and then a curveball comes at us. It might be a redundancy, it might be a relationship that falls apart, whatever it might be. And I would often see guys within the church I was at who were going through some difficult things begin to kind of switch off from things, and then begin to kind of switch off from friends, then begin to kind of isolate us. They were dealing with whatever they're dealing with. And I think of two guys in our church, both who lost their jobs. So a really challenging time. It was putting their marriages through the mill. There were huge amounts of anxieties about providing, just the standard of living their kids had become accustomed to. And these guys over time, I just saw kind of that face change, disengaging from stuff, disengaging from friends, and actually then disengaging from their wives. And they just kind of withdrew to a place of isolation. And I imagine in the work that you do, mate, you'll have heard that expression, lone wolf, where guys go and deal with stuff alone and they don't push into the support of other guys, mainly because we're just, as guys, we're not programmed to be very good at being open and honest about how we're feeling. And we're not always that good at being equipped enough to be able to listen and to hear the difficult stuff. We like to do the surface stuff. How you doing? Yeah, I'm all right. Not bad, thanks. How things? Yeah, work's been a bit rubbish recently. Kids are okay. Things are all right at home. Just very, very surface. And so I just wanted to set up this men's group. We used to meet Friday mornings in Reading, 6:30 in the morning. So catch the guys before they go to work. And we just meet in Pret a Manger, and we would just sit there, chat. Someone would occasionally share a word for the day, and we just have like an hour together. And what I found, mate, is that it takes time with guys. It takes investment of time before you get beyond that surface stuff I was just mentioning, before you get to a place where someone feels the permission to kind of be a little bit more open. I remember the moment everything changed, and we'd been rattling along for a little bit, and it was good. It was nice to hang out with them. It was a nice way to start a Friday. And this guy called Hugo, who's frightfully well-to-do, very wealthy Hugo, wife and a couple of kids. And he just sat there one morning. He was a bit quiet, and I sort of went round him and saying, how you doing? Is anything we can talk about? Anything you want prayer for, or whatever it might be? And he just went, guys, I'm just really struggling with porn at the moment. And there was this kind of collective silence. It was like, oh gosh, we weren't quite expecting this, least of all from Hugo. And there was a momentary pause and a little bit of awkwardness. But actually, Alex, what that moment did is that it kind of gave everyone else permission, in that we didn't suddenly start all putting our hands up saying, yeah, I watch too much porn, or whatever it might be. But actually, it kind of opened the gates, so that on that day, we started going to, more in-depth levels of engaging with each other, of talking about some of the things we were facing in life, and actually being that thing that as guys we're not very good in doing, and that's being vulnerable. Because you'll have seen my stuff, and I know that loads of others talk about this, is that vulnerability too often in our society, particularly when it comes to men, is seen as a dirty word. It's an admission of weakness, whereas I always see it actually as an admission of strength. If you're able to be vulnerable enough to say, do you know what, today I'm struggling, today I'm facing this and I don't know what to do, that to me is strength. And that's what that group became about, which was guys just kind of doing life together once a week, supporting each other, and getting to that place eventually where we were vulnerable enough on the days where we did feel that way to say, do you know what, guys, this morning, I'm going to be honest enough to say I'm having a really shit time.